A problem can't be solved at the consciousness at which it was created. This is a quote from Albert Einstein. Welcome to another episode of Midweek Motivation with me, your host, Marcus. On today's episode, we're going to talk about your problems, your perspective, and how to solve a lot of the problems in your life. Okay, every problem that we have comes to us with a gift in his hand. I'm gonna say that again. Every problem that comes to us with a gift that's in its hand. It's a good thing that is going to help us in the future. Okay, now I can probably guess, and I could be wrong, but most of us, we kind of have the same problems that center around two things. It centers around this, money, and honey, okay? Not having enough funds to do fun things that we want to do, or not having a romantic partner around to satisfy us in the way we would like, okay? Now, before I go into that, as you probably watched on some of my previous videos, I made a previous video about the lack of anything can be tied to a lack of self-esteem, okay? And that relates to when it comes to money, when it comes to not having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, okay? Now I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna help you, okay? Here's a tip that's gonna help you have more and be more, okay? The more you are, the less you need, okay? The more you are, the less you need. The more you love yourself and see your inherent value, you won't have to go chasing things like this or the opposite sex. A lot of that stuff will come to you. As I've said before, is that there's two things in life you never have to chase: true friends and true love, okay? If you focus on yourself and love yourself enough to be like, you know what, I'm worth something, that's how you're gonna attract somebody to you. If you love yourself and enjoy being with yourself, that energy is gonna radiate off of you. And people are going to see that, we got to become the energy we wish to receive, okay? If your services are valuable, if your knowledge is valuable, if you're competent in what you do, you're going to get this. It's going to come, okay? And a lot of times I've seen being self-employed is that people will give you this if you can solve their problems, okay? Now let's talk about perspective, okay? Perspective is very important in life. If you've been in a plane, you know how much a change in perspective can change how you see things. When you're flying in a plane, as probably all of us have at some point, you see the earth differently than if you're walking on the sidewalk. That's what a change in perspective will do, okay? If we can change the way we view things, we'll be able to change the way we do things, okay? If we can change the way we view things, we can change the way that we do things, okay? Perspective is so important when it comes to life because let me tell you something. Problems are normal. They're gonna happen. Even if you have a lot of this, you're gonna still have problems, okay? I used to work with a lady. She only had like $1.1 million in her account. Her name was Jackie. Okay, I don't work with her anymore, so I can talk about this. And she was very anxious and unhappy a lot of the times, okay? She's a really nice lady, but she was anxious. She didn't know if she could trust people. She didn't know if people just want to be friends with her because of this, okay? A lot of people at this have tax problems. So a lot of us think this is going to make us happy or significant other is going to make us happy, and it's just simply not true. If that was the case, you wouldn't see people have millions of dollars, being unhappy and anxious, or you wouldn't see people breaking up if those things really made you happy. Okay, this is why, Jesus said the most important commandment is to love yourself, because once you love yourself, that's where everything starts to come in, okay? You don't have to go chasing things like this. Obviously, there's an opportunity to go get it, but you don't have to devote your entire life to getting this, okay? If you're valuable, that'll happen, okay? So remember, your perspective is important. So with that being said, one of the first tips where you're going to have or do, one of the tips that I have for you in terms of solving a lot of your problems is we've got to change our perspective of the problem. As the opening quote, I said, like Albert Einstein said, he said, a problem cannot be solved at the consciousness at which it was created. That means the same line of thought where that problem originated can't be solved on that same line of thought, which means that if we change our perspective, go from walking on the sidewalk to being in the airplane, metaphorically speaking, we'll be able to change ourselves, and then as a result, be able to solve the problems. So a lot of problems come from just changing ourselves and changing how we do things. Next, if you want to solve your problems, go out and solve somebody else's problem, okay? Everyone in the world has problems, okay? Everybody, rich, poor, fat, skinny, everyone has problems no matter what it looks like on the surface, okay? And I define problems as obstructions from the life that we want. If you're trying to get a job and no one's replying back to you, that's an obstruction. That's a problem. If your stomach hurts out of nowhere, wake up in the morning, your stomach hurts, That's a problem right there. And I'll tell you this, guys, a lot of us think our problems are so bad, but if you're breathing, if you're able to move around, if you got a place to live and clothes to wear and, you know, food to eat, like, you're okay. You know, you're not going to die. Remember, everybody has problems, so don't freak out. Remember, I used to always freak out and be like, oh man, another problem. Like, and then you just learn that, you know, problems are normal. You know, problems are going to come and problems are going to go. And you've had problems in the past and they've been solved. You've got problems now that are going to be solved. And you have problems in the future that are going to be solved. Most problems, you know, over time, they solve themselves, but a lot of problems don't, okay? And so that's my second tip is if you want to solve your problems, go solve somebody else's, okay? That's what a business really is. It's somebody or someone or a group of people who solves problems in exchange for this. And so my next point number 3, is that a problem defined is a problem half solved, okay? A problem defined is a problem half solved. You can get the problem on a piece of paper and write out, okay, my biggest problem right now is that my 3-year-old keeps acting up. If you can write that down and go from there, you know, you can think of ways to figure out how to fix the problem, okay? So in closing, problems are normal, remember that, okay? And every problem comes with a gift in its hand. Don't see it as a bad thing. And if we can change our perspective, help other people to solve their problems, and define our problems, we can overcome it, okay? Because, you know, life is beautiful despite the problems, okay? Don't forget about all the good things in your life, okay? Even though you have problems and pain and suffering, don't forget about your purpose, you know, your individual process and your people that you can help. Think about those 3 things: your purpose, your process, your people, instead of your problems, okay? Because most things, if we look at our lives, 90% is usually going right and 10% is going wrong, but we focus on the 90% that we think is wrong, okay? Like, learn to enjoy life despite the problems and the pain. But if you enjoy this video, please share it with your friends and family. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. As always, unsuccessful people make decisions based on their current situation, and successful people make decisions based on where they want to be. Make decisions based on where you want to be. Understand that problems are normal, okay? You're not going to die, okay? These problems are here to give you life. They're here to make you better and elevate, okay? All right, bye.